everyone forgot about eating Tide Pods. So they actually were very successful.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is actually really true. I totally forgot about that.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, a new Captain Marvel trailer has us powered up to see this movie.
Oh, Chris.
I got to get one good pun in before we start the show. We're going to run down several shows on the Disney Plus service. Got some talk about that. How many Fox movies are going to be released?
Yeah.
That's a question I ask myself every day, and more.
Yeah, the question of the Dark Phoenix is kind of looming out there. I was like, when's the last time I saw a trailer? And then I was kind of scrolling through some news websites this week, and somebody out there decided to make an article like the 10 reasons why nobody cares about Dark Phoenix, and it's not even out yet. So I was like, okay, people are thinking about it, but not in the way Fox wants them to think about it.
Yeah, well, at this point, I think Fox just doesn't care. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I've got some stuff we're gonna they have a lot of movies we've always just mentioned once in passing, and then that was it. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen or not going forward.
Chris, I had a funny question I wanted to ask you.
Oh Lord.
I know for a fact that local to your area you have an Apple store, correct?
That is correct.
So I'm just gonna take a wild guess that Apple store is located inside of a mall.
Okay,
possibly.
You're working your way through this. Yep.
Okay. The best part about basically every Apple store I've ever seen has always been inside of a mall, and the best part about that is the Apple store is the place you bring your Apple products to get fixed. So I was kind of tooling around the mall today, and my favorite sight to see is somebody just huffing it through the mall, holding an iMac screen. Just carrying around a couple grand of technology, because the iMac was precision designed to sit on a desk, and it's very good at sitting on a desk, but once you have to lift it and carry it around, everybody just looks really awkward. You're just the one dude walking around without shopping bags. You're just I just got this freaking computer I gotta get fixed, out of my way. Why does the Apple store have to be right in the middle of this mall? Why can't it be right by a door or something? I just find it hilarious.
It's that damn hinge on the back of these things, Mike, that it's spring loaded, so when you pick it up, it wants to kick out every time.
Yeah, it's just put me down.
And so I feel like you gotta take the power cord and wrap it around it a couple times just to hold it all together.
Yeah, because it's you can be a little bit more inconspicuous if you're bringing in an old MacBook. I know you're bringing it in to get repaired because you brought the weird dangling cord and you didn't bother to put it in a case. But yeah, watching people huff iMacs through the mall is just one of my little joys in life. And if I people like to make little boutique Twitter and social media accounts. I would love to make one where I just collected pictures of people just trying to schlep their technology. But yeah, so send any photos if you happen to have them towards me. Maybe I'll start
best part about this analogy is our favorite part of Into the Spider-Verse, Mike. It's the people who carry the computer monitors with their towers when they're taken in to get fixed.
Yeah, but I guess the funny thing about Apple is the computer's in all of the monitors, so you have no choice but to bring the display with you. Unlike Spider-Verse, where you can just bring it in a tower. But we don't talk about tech too much on this show. It's nerd adjacent for sure. But the Consumer Electronics Show just wrapped up, and I swear almost every year, right after CES, Apple announces some sort of event. I haven't seen it anywhere out there, so I don't know if they're skipping this year or maybe pushing it a couple weeks.
Apple's event is always in April. That's where they announce the beta iOS software and occasionally some new lighter end products that you don't use very frequently.
But they've been promising that a fully customizable Mac Tower where you can actually open it up and swap stuff like a real computer. So maybe people will be dumb enough in the future to bring their $3,000 Mac displays along with their tower, and then oh man, I'd like to see how they bring that through the mall.
You set up, if you could convince a store to set up like a live stream across from the Apple store and just watch the people come in like and cut out that footage.
I don't know about how your mall is laid out, but the best part about the Apple store at my local place is literally if you're in the Apple store looking out, right across the way is the Microsoft store. And there's just like a Microsoft employee just like staring down the Apple store like somebody come over here.
So you actually have a Microsoft like location. We just have a kiosk that you have to walk by to get to the Apple store every time. And I'm like, I love your video game console, but I got to go to the Apple store. I'm sorry.
There's shiny, nice stuff in there. Man, I picked up that new Apple Pencil. I don't know if they're calling it an Apple Pencil 2 or...
I think it's just Apple Pencil.
Yeah, but yeah, it's slick, man. It feels so nice. Even with that kind of flat edge that's magnetic, ooh, it feels good, man.
The owner of my company, 2 days after this came out, he had the new iPad Pro in that pencil already. And so he loves it. He uses it all the time. I was very impressed. But yeah, it seems to be pretty popular.
Yeah, but Chris, it's obvious that we're not here to talk about technology. We're here to talk about something much more important.
Yes. It is my favorite time of year because we get to look forward to the Super Bowl. And I know it's not the Super Bowl, it's the Super Bowl, but we're not sports people, Mike, right? That's not our forte.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, I could tell you Indiana's team, and that's really about all I got. They're the Colts. Has something to do with horses because I live near the Kentucky Derby now. But what we love about that is the commercials, and we always do a trailer wrap up afterwards. But we were talking before the show, as usual, because we're fat kids, about the snacks of the Super Bowl. And what we want to do is have a superhero snack bowl this year. And my idea is to do, me and my wife were talking about this, do the what I call the fondue style, like a fondue style thing where you have like cheese and chocolates and foods that you can dip and all this stuff. So like little slices of breads and meats and shrimp cocktail, because I love me some shrimp cocktail, Mike.
Oh yeah.
They have have you ever had spicy cocktail sauce on your shrimp?
Ooh, have you? I mean, this is going to be very very localized to just Indiana folk, but I've had that cocktail sauce that's from what's that famous steakhouse in Indianapolis called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they have this insanely spicy cocktail sauce, and if you look at it, it doesn't look any different. Like sometimes if you go to a Mexican restaurant and you see a spicy salsa, it's like volcanic red, and you're like, I know that one's spicy, and there's like no chunks of anything. They pureed all the spice into it. But like this cocktail sauce, it just looks like normal, and then you take a dip of it, and it's just like, oh, I just ate a whole stem of horseradish. My mouth is on fire. So yes, I've come across those.
Yeah, and that's exactly the one I'm talking about because that is delicious. So we're talking about that. You always have everyone, like no one's gonna eat a full meal before watching.
Sorry, Chris, it is St. Elmo Steakhouse.
There it is. I literally just pulled it up as well. So I was like St. Elmo Steakhouse. You can get that for $11 on eBay right now if you want to. I think it's a 12-ounce bottle. Yeah. Anyway, but talking about, because no one wants to eat a full meal during the Super Bowl. You want to sit down and eat something big, and then like you want to snack during this whole thing because it's a long event. It could be 4 to 6 hours, right?
It is your permission after kind of coming off your New Year's resolution of probably eating lots of carrots and celery, is like you got this one day where you're just gonna go balls to the wall with snacks. So yeah, people want the snacks.
Exactly. So I think that we're going to do the fondue style. Mike, you're still up in the air about what you're doing and what you're going to have. But you know how we're going to alleviate this a little bit?
How's that?
We're going to ask our beloved super fans and listeners to send in their favorite Super Bowl snacks and what you guys are having. So we can all share our snacks. I'm going to put in one of mine here. Probably a little close, maybe in this notes or the next notes of what I'm going to do. I'll break it down in the next episode. But, I mean, if you guys have your snacks that you do at the Super Bowl, whether it's like hot dogs in a blanket or whatever, pigs in a blanket, the hot dogs with the croissant rolls, or just you want a big bag of Doritos or chips and salsa, whatever, send us your snacks because I want to know what you guys are eating on the Super Bowl. And maybe we'll add that to our list.
Like, yeah, my go-to, the thing that I look forward to every year is this buffalo chicken dip, which is basically just a bunch of buffalo sauce, like cream cheese and like shredded chicken, tons of cheese. There's nothing about it is good for you. And like the best thing is to eat it with like club crackers, which club crackers, you think, oh, cracker, it might be good for you. Like club crackers are not good for you. Like I think they make them with like half butter. So it's like delicious combination. So that's my go-to for the Super Bowl for sure. But yeah, we want to know what snacks you guys like to eat, because even if you're not a fan of football, like we've talked about on the show like last week, we're probably going to see lots of Disney property trailers on there. We might see a debut for the next Star Wars film where we at least maybe get a title reveal. We could get another Endgame trailer, probably like a last like Captain Marvel trailer just to push people to the theaters one last time. So that trailer could be pretty big, might reveal something to kind of push people over the edge. I mean, Spider-Man, we've still been waiting for that trailer, so we might see that there. So even if you don't like football, you got to tune in for those trailers.
Yeah, exactly. And even if not the trailers, I think, was it one for Iron Man 3? I remember watching this. They didn't necessarily do a trailer. They did their extended look, and then the trailer was online later. So, I mean, there's tons of things that you can see there. And things we may get, the summer movies may start getting their promotions in there as well. So there's a lot we could do, and I'm just really kind of excited to see what we get. But I mean, I'm going to be mostly digging the food stuff. If no one comes over, I don't care now. I'm going to be eating the food regardless.
Know what? I'm going to put a dark horse prediction. We're not quite to the Super Bowl just yet, so who knows? But my dark horse prediction is an Avatar teaser trailer for James Cameron's next Avatar movie. Okay. You know, it might not be a whole lot. It could just be a little teaser, but I think he's got to strike the iron while it's hot during the Super Bowl just to let people, hey, Avatar still exists. He wants a big group of people in their living rooms looking at a TV to all go like, oh, I remember Avatar. I remember when I saw that. Yeah, I saw it in 3D. Oh, we all saw it in 3D. Remember 3D movies? So I think we might see that there, and that's probably what people are going to be talking about for the next like couple weeks after that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that would be interesting. We've not heard any things of it, but I mean, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see where we go, but we're going to do that. And send us your recipe. That's all I ask. Send us your recipes. Send us what you're eating, because I want to know. Because we are fat kids at heart, and we love our food.
We got to know.
We got to know. I'm going to go ahead and make this announcement at the top of the show, Mike. We are on Spotify. We finally made it.
Oh, Chris, thank you. I wanted to give a shout out to my co-host, captain of the ship, Christopher Dillard here, who worked tirelessly over his weekend to merge all of our audio, all of our podcasts onto a new podcast server. So everything's much more streamlined. We got like dashboards out the wazoo. We're listed on new servers. So if you stay tuned to the end of the podcast, I'm going to read all the places you can listen to the show. But yeah, we're on Spotify, which is great. A lot of people out there love Spotify, addicted to Spotify. You might not even know there's podcasts on Spotify, but if that's your home for audio and you're just like, I hate iTunes, but I love Superhero Slate so much, I gotta have it just so I can listen to them. We're on iTunes now, babe. I mean, we're on Spotify now, baby. So there you go. Special thanks to Chris. Shout out, he did all the work.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. If you notice any issues with downloading your podcast, I'm gonna put out a call, not this week, but probably in 2 weeks, for people to go back and listen to our old episodes to make sure those are working. If you want to be a super fan and you've already told everyone you know about the show and you want to extend that status, I'm going to have you go listen to some old episodes to make sure they work. But I've got some manual hand labor to go through still, but I mean, I'm really excited to be on Spotify. I use Spotify all the time. We have the Facebook portals at work I've been telling Mike about, which I don't think are cool at all. But they have Spotify built into those, so I can listen to my music and now my podcast while I'm sitting in my office. So
there you go.
I think that's just really cool. It's a really good experience. So we'll have that link in our show notes for you, or maybe you're already listening to us on Spotify, and if you are for the first time, welcome to the show. We love food and superheroes. But now, let's talk about the other thing we're here for, superheroes. Mike, you ready?
Yeah, that's right. Let's jump into the news.
So this coming week, this Friday, Season 2 of The Punisher will be landing in your Netflix queues.
I mean, Chris, are you excited? Is there any hype left in you for these Netflix shows?
I do have to say, The Punisher has let me down the least out of all the shows. So I'm actually pretty excited to watch The Punisher Season 2.
Yeah, I mean, there's no ill will for sure, but I know The Punisher was in production before, like, the flagship series Daredevil got canned. So I would assume that by the last episode of this season, we might not have anything nicely wrapped up. It could just be something that's just kind of like vaguely ending. They probably thought maybe they'd get another season. So I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen with Jessica Jones. I think maybe that was far enough out to where we get a nice, like, kind of wrap up, but Yeah, it's hard to be hyped for something you know that there's not going to be any more of. But yeah, I mean, I want to watch it. Jon Bernthal is really great as the Punisher. I don't really know about this white jigsaw mask. I hope that is temporary from the screenshots that I've seen, because it just kind of looks like something cheap that the character picked up at like a discount store in New York City. So. Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch at least 1 or 2 episodes before we hop back on the podcast next week.
Yeah, I definitely need to figure out how to get in there and watch me some Netflix. But I will tell you, the reviews for this show are already landing, Mike. So I will tell you, I don't know if you want me to tell you or not, like the general consensus of what the reviews are. Or no?
I mean, it's coming out soon, so I think you can leave it to yourself.
Okay, great. I'm needless to say, I'm not afraid to watch The Punisher Season 2. And even though it might be our last journey with Jon Bernthal as a Punisher, I am very much excited to see how his journey ends. And maybe they had some time to clean up the ends, knowing that it might be ending. So this may be our first show with a full, complete, quote-unquote, ending at the end of it. So that's coming out Friday on Netflix. So queue up your Netflix on Friday. Call in sick, whatever you need to do to get through that for the weekend if you need to. So there's that. The Academy Awards are coming up, Mike. We just looked over when that was coming out. I think it's like February 20th or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's the 24th.
24th, okay.
Right,
yeah, so the Super Bowl is the 3rd, that would be the 24th. So as some of you may or may not know, the current host they'd hired to do the Academy Awards has backed out due to some previously offensive tweets. I'm seeing a pattern here across the world. But the producers are wanting to assemble the Avengers to present various awards over the evening that week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. The cast of the all of these MCU movies, everybody knows who they are, and unfortunately for the kind of status of the movies that they're in, they're probably not gonna personally win any awards they're up on screen. So why not let these like super handsome, like talented, pretty people just kind of run amok at the Oscars giving awards? Everybody loves them. Everybody's seen their movies. I think that would be fine, but. It is funny that everybody was really worried about who is or isn't going to host the Oscars, because really, I mean, the host main job is to just kind of do the monologue at the beginning, and maybe 1 or 2 times they might pop up and say something funny, and usually it's not. Usually it's just the presenters like giving out stuff, so I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. And what's really cool, and I just looked this up, that it's ABC who is doing the Oscars this year. Or the Academy Awards. They will be on ABC, which is owned by Disney. So this would be some internal, like if Avengers bought some
vertical integration.
So if the Avengers brought a new special trailer or a look or behind the scenes thing to the Academy Awards,
I didn't even think about that. I think once or twice in the past, I remember there was a trailer debut during the Oscars, but I don't think it was anything like crazy that I had to see. So it would be kind of cool, premiere like an Endgame trailer there.
Well, I don't think so. I think the trailer will be the Super Bowl, and then do a special look or one of those extended commercials or a behind the scenes thing. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had a behind the scenes look a couple years ago for Age of Ultron, and we got to see like the Hulkbuster for the first time behind the scenes, and just talking about hyping the movie up for people watching it just in case. And then also, it wouldn't hurt to have some superhero commercials into the Academy Awards to make people maybe start associating the two together, whether that's true or not. But in 2013, they did have Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, and Samuel L. Jackson on stage together, which is pretty cool, and to go back and see that. So maybe they could do that this year if they were wanting some people to come out and present the awards.
Bring them back. It's one of the few times I watch live television in a year, so if I have to sit down and watch the Oscars, I'd like to see those superheroes come on out.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get them in there. I'll sign whatever petition you want. That doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Black Panther is currently the best reviewed movie in 2018 according to Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. Also, I think behind that was Black Klansman, I forget what the other one was, and then Into the Spider-Verse rounded out like the top 5. So if you're looking for people who reviewed, not necessarily Rotten Tomato scores, but the best reviews overall, Black Panther was the #1 movie for 2018.
Man, Hollywood really wants to live and die by those Rotten Tomato scores. They complain about them whenever they make a movie that the critics hate but the audience loved, and then they put it on front and center on their Blu-ray discs whenever they get a good Rotten Tomato score. So it's hard for me to feel any sympathy for a studio that complains that they got a bad Rotten Tomato rating. So.
Yeah, and again, this isn't like I said, this is not related to the Rotten Tomato score, but overall, how many good reviews versus bad reviews. I don't know how they do it, but it's not the score that matters, because some of them, like, otherwise we talk about Paddington 2, right? Didn't it have like the perfect score ever?
I love Paddington 2.
I watched half of the first Paddington the other day on accident. It was just on the TV, and I'm like, what is this?
It's the best movie of all time.
Yeah. Mission Impossible Fallout was the other movie, by the way, that came in behind that. So they've got that going for them. And then they also secured a Writers Guild nomination, a WGA nomination. I don't know what for, but I assume this has to do with the Academy Awards.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the story in Black Panther. That was really great. So good on them. Good for Black Panther. Really making waves. I'm really curious what they're going to do in the sequel. I hope they just really kind of like blow it out, go crazy, do something unexpected, because I want to see a good sequel to a good movie.
Yeah, and I feel confident that we're going to get that. Again, I've been thinking a lot this weekend about Winter Soldier, believe it or not, and I was like, damn, that's a good movie. That's a good follow-up to a first movie, you know. So
I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm going to go crazy. Wakandan tech, they make a space station. Put them in space. It makes total sense. They got the high tech that's organized by a whole society. You know, Tony Stark, you could imagine him putting satellites in the space, but he's just kind of like one company that's really successful. Like, this would be all of Wakanda with all of their vibranium tech and all of their smarts. Put them in space. Maybe Wakanda ends up being the origin of kind of a sword, of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s sword. Maybe there's some sort of joint venture or something up there. But yeah, put that freaking Panther in space. That's what I want to see in the sequel.
You're about 2 years behind the comic books, because that is one of the big storylines that happened in like 20, I guess,
really?
17, 20, yeah,
really? Wakanda goes to space?
Well, that they actually colonized a planet in space years before.
Yo.
And that they are the Black Panther is the leader of S.W.O.R.D. So.
Oh, holy crap! I'm a genius.
And also, he's up there with Captain Marvel.
Ooh.
So that's another thing.
Space elevator. I want to see a space elevator. That I don't know if you're unfamiliar with what a space elevator is, people. It's a theoretical thing that could be built one day on Earth, but, you know, go ahead and make it happen because it's the MCU. But basically, you think about, like, okay, like skyscrapers can only go so tall. Like, eventually, the amount of material you have to put in them to make sure they don't fall over, it's just stupid. But if you build something tall enough and you technically get it out into orbit, like the zero gravity of whatever holds the tower keeps it from falling over. So then you have like this elevator like straight to space. They talk about like carbon nanotubes or whatever, being able to pull like the lift of it, whatever. You could just like have like vibranium cords or something. Space elevator fight. Oh, Chris, I'm already thinking about it.
I don't want a space elevator. Just put a space station up and let them fly up there. They're good. We'll probably see some actual space stations around Earth, maybe in Captain Marvel. I don't know.
Ooh, maybe.
We'll see. So Black Panther, be prepared to hear about more of that in the next like 2 months, and then once the Oscars are done, we'll probably wait until San Diego Comic-Con before we hear about Black Panther 2, which will definitely be in the works. Are you familiar with Black Panther's quest at all?
Is his quest to go to space?
No, Black Panther's quest is the Avengers Assemble. It's a cartoon show, the Avengers cartoon show. This season's called Black Panther's Quest.
Okay.
Tonight, it's the 13th. Yeah, today's the 13th. Damn. Stan Lee's last animated cameo is to debut tonight on Black Panther's Quest. So
that's sweet.
It also sounds like tonight's episode is a flashback to like an older Black Panther who was like maybe in like the 60s or something doing secret missions. So It might be an interesting episode. I don't know. I haven't really watched any of it, but
there is no upside to Stan Lee passing away. But one thing that will be nice to watch is now that he's like finally finished all of his cameos. He's succeeded his career. Popping up in all of these movies of all these characters he's created. Now somebody out there can really make a fully completed kind of combination and a master edit of all of his cameos, and like we can just like sit down and just watch it all at once. Whenever you feel like you're missing Stan Lee, just go watch I want to say like cameo, coalition edit, compilation. That's the word I'm looking for. The Stan Lee cameo compilation. It'll finally be finished and we can watch it all soon.
I expect the some sort of short video that you can buy or DVD, like the Pixar animated collection. Like the Stan Lee cameo collection that you can buy.
That would be really cool because he's kind of cameoed from, in Sony stuff and in Fox stuff, and there could be like rights issues, I'm sure he cameoed in the Hulk. I just don't remember what it was.
He drank which Hulk? The Incredible Hulk?
Yeah.
He drank the soda.
But it'd be cool if you just took all of his cameos and just put it on like something and sold it, and then all of the proceeds go to like charity or something like that. Mm-hmm. That'd be amazing. Let's do that. And then you could have bonus features of like interviews with him and stuff.
Well,
that'd be so
I'd
cool.
like to see his older cameos because I know he was in like the Hulk TV show, I think, or the Hulk movies.
Oh,
like,
I'd like ones. That.
And like some audio stuff from before Marvel before his live action stuff. So. I'd like to see the Stan Lee collection DVD set on digital or Blu-ray or whatever. I'd probably pick that up for all the right reasons. But I don't know how many movies he has going forward.
Yeah, that's true. We
Captain
don't know
Marvel,
what they filmed.
Endgame, probably Spider-Man, to be honest.
They just plopped him in a room with a green screen. They just said, okay, Stan, say whatever you want. We got these cards. You can say whatever. We're recording every second that you're here, and hopefully we have 20 cameos just in this afternoon done.
They did. I don't know if you've seen this on YouTube or not, but they showed all his Ant-Man cameo lines. Mm-hmm. There's like, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 different lines he did for Ant-Man. And the Wasp, so you can check those out online and see all the different ones he did for that one.
Yeah, that's
in
great.
Particular. So that was pretty funny because he's like referencing drugs or being drunk or something because the card disappears in front of him. So yeah, there's that. We got that. So Black Panther's Quest, if you want to check out that episode, it should be live after tonight. Captain Marvel surprised us. We thought we were just getting a little commercial last Monday for Captain Marvel. We ended up getting a whole trailer. I'm calling this a whole trailer. Special look or not. It's 90 seconds of brand new Captain Marvel footage all around. And I've got to say, this actually has me more excited than the first trailer we saw overall, because I think Carol has more personality in this. We get to see the Skrull shapeshift like I've been asking for months. And it seems to be the action's going to be pretty through the roof. And Samuel L. Jackson always looks good. So. Yeah,
we got a little bit more attitude from Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel in this trailer. The only thing that all of these trailers haven't sold me on yet is any scene that Jude Law's in. Like, none of them look very entertaining. Of course, it's just a trailer. There's so much more to see, but they're just like usually in like these space pajamas, and they're just kind of like doing like karate flips and stuff. And I'm just like, this just looks like the most boring part of the movie. Take me back to the CG'd Sam Jackson, please.
You know why they're doing that?
Why?
Because they want us to think he's Captain Marvel, but he's not Captain Marvel. He's a character called Jan Rog, who was the enemy of Captain Marvel. And they're trying to tell us they're not letting us know who he is yet, so we don't think he's a good guy the whole time.
If you listen to this show, we told you a while ago through some sort of toy leak, probably.
Oh, the pop vinyl I already own, actually. It's already out in stores, so it's not a secret anymore.
It's like I already got it. I've already taken pictures at every angle.
Not yet, but I will if you want me to. But I have that. I have that one over here. I want to see the cat. I want to see what the cat does. I'm very excited to see this alien cat.
Yeah, I see these reports of like it's not just a cat. So I don't know if this cat is just going to be like Deus Ex Machina, like show up out of nowhere and it's got like tendrils that come out of it and save Captain Marvel in a pitch.
He's a Flurgan. I'm excited to see. I'm excited. There's so much about this movie I don't know, and I think these trailers are just fucking with us. They're messing with us so hard again, and I'm like, oh, I want to see this.
The nice thing is after we see this movie, it's not going to be that much longer until we get to see Endgame, which is going to be nice. I don't really remember, but it might even be a shorter window from what we had between Black Panther.
It is. It's a month shorter because it's March to actually the first weekend of March to the last weekend of April right now, which is less than 2 months. My concern about Captain Marvel, Mike, is she is positioned to be the end-all, be-all, most powerful character in the Marvel Universe right now. I think they're going to have to take away some of her powers and abilities by the end of this movie or by the end of Endgame, or she's just going to be the person you call when you have any issues. You're like, hey, show up and blast him once and we're good.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how they want to, like, this is super nerdy, but this is what we like to do on this podcast. I think it really just goes to how strong are these photon blasts, because if you think about it, like, I don't know particularly if she's got a lot of superhuman strength. We see her flying in the trailer. We see her doing photon blasts. I haven't seen her technically pick up a tank and throw it, like Wonder Woman would. So I don't know if there's like a super strength component there. But if you think about it, the skill sets that we've seen in the trailer is not too far removed from basically what Iron Man does, like blasts from his hands and flies around too. So I could kind of see her like being a similar tool like what we see from Iron Man, which very well could possibly die in Endgame or like officially retire and just go live on an island with Pepper Potts. Who knows? So yeah, there's a chance that a photon blast from Captain Marvel, might just kind of like make Thor kind of like knock back or something like that. Or if we bring in like Dragon Ball Z rules, like the more energy, more focus she puts into it, the blast could be bigger and make a bigger damage. Or if she's just like, if she's like weak, maybe the photon blast isn't that strong. So I think there's ways they could basically nerf her to kind of fit her into, the team.
Let's hope so, because at the end of this special, like, she is literally blowing up spaceships with like one blast from her hand. So we've got to see what her power levels are and what she can and can't do. But that's my only concern with her. I mean, I just want to put that out there. Like, I don't want like we've talked about, how like you use a Dragon Ball reference. Goku's the most powerful person ever, always. I don't want her to just be the most powerful person always. Like,
we got to get our scouters out back from when we were in middle school and put those on while we watched the movie.
Middle school,
got her power level.
Like 3 over there. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. Tickets are now available for Captain Marvel and is blowing things out of the water in terms of like sales. So if you want to go get your tickets 2 months early, go get them. I got mine. I was the first one in that theater. You better believe it.
Yeah, I gotta pick up mine here soon. I gotta get them.
Is your theater selling them yet?
Yeah, they actually were, because the theater that I usually go to waited until like the last minute to put Aquaman tickets on sale. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if it was like an Amazon Prime like closure window or something like that. But yeah, Captain Marvel was up, ready to go. So gotta hop on that. Yep.
And with those ticket sales, they're looking at upwards of $160 million opening weekend, 140 to 160 million. Off these ticket sales, early ticket sales, and it would be if it makes this much, when the 140 to 160, it would be the third highest opening Marvel movie ever. Do you know what two would beat this? Just off the top of your head.
I'm maybe the first Avengers and Black Panther.
That is correct. Guess? You are correct.
Hey, look at that.
Pulling that one right off the top of your head there. So if it does that, that would be huge, and I think Endgame might have a chance to top that as well.
The Endgame, that's gonna be a whole nother monster.
Yeah. So if you're gonna get your tickets, get them now while you can. They're probably opening. I think some theaters were adding more screenings because the tickets were selling so fast. So I'm very excited. They have some fan events. I'm not going to because I wanted my reserved seating. To hell with getting a coin and wait in line for 3 hours. I'm going to walk in and get my seat. But on the flip side of all this, avoid any Samuel L. Jackson interviews up until you watch this movie, because he is, again, in his 70s. So either he's a very confused old man, has filmed too many Marvel movies, or he's dropping spoilers left and right. I don't know.
He just
which
doesn't
one
care. I think once you get to a certain age and you have that much money, you don't even have to have that much money, actually. Just when you get to a certain age, you just don't care anymore about the young whippersnappers and what they're doing. You're just like, I'm Samuel L. Jackson. I have like the most money earned per films I've been in than anybody else. Go to hell. I'm going to say whatever I want.
And in that regard, I think his contract is also up with Captain Marvel as well. So, we may see, but he says he wants to keep doing the movies. So we may see more Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, if they CGI for this whole movie, I'm excited to see what he looks like and see some young Nick Fury and some young Coulson. I did learn Phil Coulson, Clark Gregg, will be at C2E2 this year. I may try to get my picture with him.
I love that guy. He's so cool.
And it is the first Comic-Con appearance ever of Paul Rudd at C2E2 this year as well.
Oh, Paul Rudd. Two funny cameos from Paul Rudd if people want to go out there. There's a show, I think it's up on Hulu now. It's called Travel Man. It's hosted by, I can't think of his name, but he's on the IT Crowd. Chris, I don't know if you've ever seen the IT Crowd.
I live that movie, Mike.
Yeah.
Or that show.
But the character that's not Chris O'Dowd, basically, he basically just
Richard Ayoade.
Yeah. He travels to cities for 48 hours, and he brings like a celebrity companion with him. And there's an episode, I believe, where he goes to Helsinki, and he brings Paul Rudd with him, which is just great because they're both a delight. So you can get some Paul Rudd cameo there. And Paul Rudd also makes a cameo. I think I may have mentioned this on the show. He makes a cameo in Bumping Mics on Netflix, too.
Yeah, you did.
I get all the Paul Rudd I want. I love that guy.
I also, so the C2E2 thing, they're doing a Clueless reunion there. They have like all 4 main characters from Clueless there.
Okay.
But I think one of my favorite, it's not favorite, but like one of my most memorable ones is Paul Rudd in Reno 911 Miami, the movie for Reno 911.
Oh, is he in that?
Yeah, he plays like the Scarface character who's always like...
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
But he's in it like playing like the Scarface character, and then they get him trapped behind some guns. He's like, no, I'm just a regular dude. Like I don't know what I'm doing here, kind of thing. It's pretty funny. And then Patton Oswalt comes around the corner and shoots him. So
okay.
it's that show is very stupid. That movie is very stupid, but it's just one of those things. Like, yeah, it's all right. So it's Captain Marvel. But we're talking Avengers Endgame, because if I wanted to see Paul Rudd before Avengers Endgame, maybe sneak in some, hey, tell me a little bit, wink wink, because he's Ant-Man, about Endgame. He probably won't tell me, but I might try to ask him. But the marketing for Endgame may only show footage from the first 20 minutes of the movie. How bold would that be?
Praise Feige. That's what I want. I don't want anything spoiled. If you look at the trailers for Infinity War, all of the trailers, you'll see set pieces throughout the whole film. Obviously, we didn't really know who was going to end up where and what the order was going to be, but we totally saw that Wakandan battle in the trailer. We saw shots that didn't make it into the movie, but we knew that there was going to be a big battle fought there. We saw pretty much, I think, every set piece at some point in time. Maybe not so much some of the stuff we saw in space, but we did see them on Titan. So I love that they're going to hold back even more for Endgame. Yeah, this is surprisingly one of those movies you do not need to advertise or show trailers for to get people to buy tickets, but we want it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for this, it's like more of like the people just reminder, you just saw an Avengers movie, but there's another Avengers movie a year later.
And also, yeah, if they're trying to hide the time travel fact, you can't show any of that stuff because people are going to instantly know what's going on.
You could if you're like, hey, remember these classic Marvel movies from the past 10 years? They've all been leading up to this. And they're like, oh, it's like a montage. We're not using this footage. Then you find out it is the footage from the movies that they're putting in. But I don't want to know anything going into this. I tell you, there are parts in Infinity War I was truly shocked and surprised at because we didn't know anything. And I love those moments. I live in those moments.
Yeah, like when I like the Red Skull reveal.
Yes, exactly.
Not a lot of people talk about that anymore, but that was literally something that we just didn't know it was going to happen. It's like, oh shit, that's Red Skull.
The Red Skull, and then also literally 3 minutes later, Gamora's killed. Like,
oh yeah,
how like you hide like one of your biggest stars right now, you killing her off in your first movie, like first Avengers movie with her. So I was like, oh dang. Yeah, and Thor getting his eye back was another big thing we didn't know about. But yeah, so there's a lot I don't want to know going into this. So I'm hopefully using this 20 minutes they can hide spoilers and events until the debut of this movie worldwide. So April is going to be a pretty much an internet dark month for us, except for like what we can. So I'm very excited. Kevin Feige also confirmed that the title Endgame has been in place since before the production of the movie. So that is why Doctor Strange says we're in the Endgame now, in the first movie. So
yeah, shout out to our super fans out there on Twitter who forwarded us the MTV interviewer who got who caught Kevin Feige at the Golden Globes. I don't remember who that guy was from MTV. I think somebody tweeted his name towards me, but he had some stellar questions for Feige. He knew exactly what he was doing. I knew that person holding the microphone up to him was a nerd that loved these films, because he just wasn't asking the normal bland questions. He was getting in there. He was trying to be precise and get stuff out of him.
Yeah, and that's cool. And also, our friend on Twitter, his name is Chris, by the way. So thank you, Chris, if you're listening to the show. I don't know if you listen or you just tag us on Twitter. Either way, I appreciate all you do. So I think that's cool that the title's been there. Again, it's not a huge reveal, or I'm not let down, but I'm not excited. It doesn't give anything away in this movie either. So.
Basically, them knowing the title ahead of time let them drop it through that's why Doctor Strange did it. So, and then they do say Endgame in Age of Ultron, but there's a chance that could have just been a coincidence, actually.
I think if not, it's a very nice coincidence, or not like we call them the retro Easter eggs we talked about, where in Iron Man 2 they say that's Spider-Man at the Stark Expo kind of thing. So
yeah, I think people like to retroactively put a lot of things on movies. Yeah. People love doing kind of those in-depth analysis of classic films and stuff. Oh well, you'll see the director here frame the shot, so we have this in the background, and you can really see the tension that this is bringing to the film. It's just in actuality, he just probably just liked the lighting in that scene, and there just happened to be something in the background. So,
or wasn't even the director; it was just the director of photography or the cinematographer just happened to do it just right. So
yeah, that was the B squad, and the director was eating a sandwich that day, and you're putting all this extra onus on him.
Yeah, happy accidents, man. Happy accidents. Also, I always get the upcoming comic releases for the year. I think they do them 3 to 4 months in advance. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, we talked about the Black Knight movie last week, and in April there are 2 reprints of Dane Whitman, the Black Knight stories coming out the same time Endgame is.
Okay.
So the first Black Knight comic is actually called Endgame, and that's the first comic where he becomes an Avenger.
Whoa.
Yeah, so these are the True Believers comics are direct reprints of these initial books. They sell them for $1, so that's really cool.
I hope he he might not stay in a suit of armor if they bring him into the future, but I hope at some point we get to see that, because I've been playing a lot of Bloodborne, so I'm really down with kind of this Victorian armor set type of stuff and leather and buckles. So I'd love to see some of that in the MCU.
Mike's going through his goth phase right now, and you'll see him currently shopping at Hot Topic on the weekends. But no, I mean, I think so. But I think the Black Knight may give them an opportunity if they wanted to do a medieval story. Maybe there's some time travel or some, however this heritage is passed down. Do half in the medieval times with Merlin and half in the current world. And that that'd be pretty interesting, because they've never done anything.
Yeah, and that is a struggle when it comes to just superheroes in general. Where do their powers come from? How long are we going to take in our script to convince the audience that somebody with superpowers is believable? And if this somebody is just oh well, it's a magic that's been passed down from lineage to lineage to lineage, so we've just kind of seen it pass through. That would be kind of cool. You could see Black Knight talking to Tony Stark or somebody, be oh, how'd you get this? Oh, it's a family thing, So, yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, watery tarts throwing swords out. That's an establishment for powers these days. No, I'm kidding. But there's Kid in King Arthur's Court or whatever it is coming out this month.
God, that trailer, that movie, that is definitely a movie for kids, because I pretty much laugh every time I see that.
They got Patrick Stewart in it, man. They're going all out.
As sophisticated as we all believe Patrick Stewart is, and we all love him, he does not pick films that make him look sophisticated. That's for sure.
Yeah. You see him in Logan. That was not a good look for him at all.
I mean, did you see him in the Emoji Movie? He was a piece of poop.
I did not watch that, so no. But also the other comic is just a Black Knight story in and of itself that's not called Endgame. So there's a couple books coming out that are interestingly tied into the Black Knight, and usually they probably pick these based on things that are going to be announced or revealed. Who knows? We'll keep that in the back of our minds for now.
All right.
But what I want to see, I want pictures of Spider-Man, Mike. Can you get me pictures of Spider-Man?
I wish I could.
How about a trailer for Spider-Man? Can you get me one of those?
Maybe January 15th?
January 15th. That is Tuesday morning. We are going to know within 24 hours whether this is true or not, but several good sources have stated that this will be the 15th for this trailer.
All I have to say is just get ready for the memes of people going like, well, I guess Spider-Man's not dead. I guess he didn't fade the dust.
Yeah, or he does feel very good, or whatever the opposite of not feeling good is. Or I just want more pictures of what's his name? Like I said, they're wanting pictures of Spider-Man. J. Jonah Jameson. I
feel like J. Jonah Jameson, if he is in this movie, it'll be like the last trailer reveal or something like that.
Well, I forgot about this. Nick Fury is in Far From Home, so Samuel Jackson will be here. So he's extending his contract even further, I guess. So interesting. Anyway, since it's been a month since the Brazil Comic-Con footage debuted, I'm hoping we get something different, a little more than that description, so we can see a little bit more than we got there. Again, I've not seen that footage. No one has leaked it that I know of, but if it's gonna reveal, I don't want a shot for shot thing that they showed there and then it lines up with the recaps. I just think that'd be kind of lazy. So give us something good. I want to see this footage, Mike. I want to see Mysterio in action.
Yes.
So that's a big question mark on our thing there. So I'm excited to see that. Into the Spider-Verse. My wife watched Into the Spider-Verse while we were recording last week's episode. By the way, I found this out. Loved it. She loved it.
Yes, love it.
She cried during it. She said.
Awesome.
And then her sister watched it, and I think she said she cried as well during it. So,
I cried for different reasons because it was so beautiful, and I wish I could be in the movie.
Yeah, it is a great movie. If you have not seen it, watch it. And if you don't believe us, the Golden Globes gave it the Best Animated Film Award last weekend as well.
Congratulations! I really hope it nabs the Oscar. The big question for it right now is. I believe there's only ever been 3 animated movies to be nominated for Best Picture. One was Toy Story 3, and I can't remember Beauty and the Beast,
and Up.
Toy Story 3, and Up. So those are the only 3 films that have ever been nominated. So it is a big deal. Of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is going to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated Film, and I hope it wins it because it deserves it. But if it gets nominated for Best Film overall, that would be great. That would be huge. That's what I'm looking for. I don't think it'll win that top tier category. It's going up against things like Roma, like super art house, black and white, films like that. But yeah, I love Spider-Verse. I almost saw it again today. If the show times would have been a little different, and I love that film, man. It's so good.
It's a good movie. And whether, like I said, just like Black Panther, even if it doesn't win, and I don't think Black Panther is going to win against some indie movie that has 5 people saw it in theaters. But to have the cultural and the money behind these 2 movies, like the phenomenon these 2 movies have created, and just be nominated and in there would add so much more to legitimizing it to a lot of people. So I would love to see them both nominated. I know they probably won't win, but nominations still matter in the long run. Black Widow, the movie that we think is going to be our May release for 2020, rumors point that discussion when they were making this movie or planning it out would have made it the first R-rated Marvel film when they were early talks about this movie, Mike. However, I don't think so. This would have been great if Guardians 3 was leading off the summer and Black Widow was in the middle or at the end of the year. But with Guardians 3 off the table and only 2 movies in 2020, Black Widow being an R-rated movie would not do very well. And I think with not just Disney, but having little girls have a superhero to look up to other than Captain Marvel would really limit this movie if it was R-rated.
Yeah, there's lots of questions around that. I would welcome a rated R MCU film. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it was going to happen, I feel like it kind of probably would be a one-off movie, kind of like that, just kind of slot it in there, make it rated R. It wouldn't be like Guardians 3 would be rated R. That would just, the trilogy's already been PG-13. I would think, if they want to make rated R stuff for the Marvel Universe, it seems like something that they might want to put on Hulu, make it a series or something like that, because kind of that's where they want to put their more adult content over on Hulu. But yeah, Disney is the family friendly joint. So I would say that this is definitely a rumor.
Yeah, well, I think it was rumors where they discussed it, but I'm pretty sure it won't be now because once they lost James Gunn, everything kind of got shuffled really fast, and they were We got to do this. We got to fix it.
I'm just thinking like in the worst ways possible. Like, what is it rated R so we can like see her hysterectomy or something like that? Nobody wants that on screen.
I don't think. I mean, I think it's just she is an assassin and a spy.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool. I'd love to see some brutal kills from
especially
Black
from
Widow.
before her time with that red in her ledger. We might see that red in her ledger, man. That's what I would want to see.
Yeah,
however,
I would say just push that PG-13 rating as far as you can until you get to the rated R. Then just cut out some bits and see if you can get it down to 13. You know,
or just pay off the people who review it. And be like, here's some money, make it PG-13 because there are no hard and fast rules on what ratings are.
Yeah, there you go.
But I could see another character continuing the rated R later on, and we'll talk about this here in a couple of minutes.
All right.
Now let's shift to Disney Plus because we're in the year of Disney Plus, Mike. We are no longer have to say next year. It's this year.
Yeah, we're not using that Zodiac calendar of Year of the Dragon. It's the Year of Disney Plus.
Year of Disney Plus. And one of the shows that is confirmed is the Loki television show on Disney Plus. And people may be disappointed to hear this, but I'm very kind of intrigued. But rumor points to Tom Hiddleston not being the main actor, but more of the narrator and the bookends for every episode, who was retelling events from his past and his childhood, adventures he went on beforehand.
Oh, I don't like that.
I know you wouldn't like that, but there's very much a precedent of this in the comics. There was a Kid Loki arc 3 or 4 years ago, and it was actually pretty cool, to be honest.
I think that's fine in a comic book realm because really when you're looking at comic books, your stars are your writers and your illustrators. So yeah, they can make whatever they want, but you want Tom Hiddleston. This is premium Disney Plus content. Loki show. My wife is in love with Tom Hiddleston. She would be so upset if this Disney streaming service just we got the new Loki show and you're just gonna get a little bit of Tom Hiddleston. I would be upset if that's what. I'm not saying it couldn't be good. This can't be a good show. I'm sure they'll hire a great teenage or kid actor that's amazing, but people want Hiddleston. That's what they want.
Well, I know that, but I don't think they're gonna get him. And I don't think whatever they told him, they were they're not gonna get him to do a TV show, hour-long TV show, however long this limited series is. We don't know much details, but I think this is probably gonna be the way to do that. To do that, and if they want to pick up another, if the feedback is we want more Tom Hiddleston, the next season they could probably do it again, however they want to do it. But I think this is the way it's going to go.
The best compromise I have is nix the narration so much, but maybe do the thing if you've ever watched the first couple seasons of Arrow, they do that thing where they jump from the past to the future and stuff like that. Maybe just have the future stuff maybe just be a quarter of every episode, and 3/4 of it is him as a kid, so you still do get Tom Hiddleston and he's still moving the plot forward, but maybe you only need him for a month of filming, instead of half of a year or something like that.
That's what I kind of meant as a narrator. I don't know if you've ever seen a Shane Black film or something like that, where they jump back and forth between that. But he provides voice for narration when needed. But yes, he's still in it, but it's not the whole episode. It's just Tom Hiddleston. He's maybe something he's done in his past has led him to wherever he is in that moment. It could also do one of those things where it flash cuts to him being choked by Thanos right before he dies, and he's you're probably wondering how I got here. Let me go back and tell you. That'd be funny. They'll not do that, but that would be pretty funny. Vision and Scarlet Witch is another show. This one's probably, as far as I know, moving the farthest along, if not the second, with the Falcon and Bucky, who have a writer as well. But Jack Schaefer, she wrote Captain Marvel, will all be the showrunner and write episodes of Vision and Scarlet Witch as well.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
So if Captain Marvel goes well, which it looks like it's going to, this show is in good hands. Very much so. And I don't think this one will be much on flashbacks, Mike. I think we'll see some I don't know, some European romping around the nations kind of thing, or I don't know.
European on my boots. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
Jesus Christ.
Just got to bring the class of the podcast down a little bit.
Wow, thank you for lowering the bar we got here. But
we're on Spotify now, baby.
I'm sorry for everyone. I'm sorry on his behalf. So yep, they got a writer and a showrunner now. I think that's the most we have for any show. So we might see that one first. That may be this year. Maybe, knock on wood. That could be a launch show if they want to. Lady Sif is rumored to get her own show on there as well. They may be in development right now. Not confirmed, not announced. But we did not see Jamie Alexander return as Sif in Ragnarok, so she's not dead. Any of those people could definitely be brought back after Endgame. We don't know anything about that, but this limited series is rumored to be in development for the Disney Plus streaming service. I don't see any problem with this. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if maybe they want to like fold her into the Loki show at all, because it is called kind of all Asgardian, or we have had that open question of like what happened to Asgard now that all of these people have left. Maybe she kind of is the people that she's the person that kind of leads them forward. Jamie Alexander right now, she's on like a network drama called Blind Spot that has like a full order hour-long drama, like 23 episodes a year. So she is busy with like another TV show. So I don't know, maybe Blind Spot is wrapping up. My wife watches that show. I think they're like in season 4 right now. So they could possibly be hitting their wall soon, and maybe she's looking for more work. But I'm sure she loves playing Sif, and these Plus shows, I'm sure they're going to be short run shows. So I could totally see this happening.
They've all been called limited series at some point. So I think I agree with you. I think they could be anywhere between 4 to 8 to maybe up to 13 episodes.
And she deserves something. We didn't get a chance to see her in Ragnarok, so we need to wrap up. We need to wrap her up, or at least see her again at some point in time. Yeah. I think that's only fair.
Yeah, and this could be maybe the follow up to the Loki show, like in between production seasons. Like they keep going with the Asgardians. Maybe that's a way to look at it. I don't know. I like to see a Korg episode. Korg.
Yeah.
Maybe he's in some of these. I don't know. We'll see. The Fox merger, Mike. This deal is expected to close in early March per all the investors. It is not closed yet. But you know what that means, right? If it closes in March?
What's that mean, Chris?
We have 2 months before all these shows and movies have to be in production or they're done. So all non-production movies that are not production, will be scrapped, including Gambit. I know you're very excited about this. Silver Surfer, that we've talked about briefly in passing. The Kitty Pryde movie, so you won't get to see her have some alien baby.
Dang.
Multiple Man with James Franco.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And the Doctor Doom movie from whoever, I forget what the guy who did a movie is doing Doctor Doom. So
yeah, Doctor Doom is something that I kind of hope does go forward with the same creator, because that was going to be the guy who did Fargo and Legion.
I think I was going to say it was Noah Hawley, but I could not remember it. But
I mean, that might be his name. I don't remember.
I think because I was reading an article on Legion. Season 3 might be its last season, but
but that guy is super talented. So I would love to fold him officially into the MCU. So maybe he'll really play nice with Kevin Feige and the people over there. Really bring out an awesome Doctor Doom. So hopefully that still goes forward. But all that other stuff, we can wipe that clean, please.
Yeah. So so that's fine with me. Like, even if Doctor Doom's scrapped and then it comes under Marvel's banner and they end up doing a Fantastic Four and introducing him the long way around, I would love to see their versions. But those can be done. X-Force is still possible, but it has to get done in 2 months, or started production in 2 months. And I don't think it will meet that time constraint, to be honest. But they did say this report that Ryan Reynolds will remain as Deadpool in the Marvel universe. Once everything's transferred over, Deadpool will still remain its own little thing with Ryan Reynolds. So that would be the R-rated movie Disney puts out. Would be Deadpool 3. Yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine that we're going to be seeing the Deadpool movies on the Disney Plus streaming service, because all the indications we've seen is that it's going to be family friendly. So, like we said, maybe we get to see the Deadpool movies on Hulu. That adds more clout to people wanting to subscribe to Hulu. Hey, this is where you can watch your Deadpool movies. So, they're just so lucky that Deadpool is just the type of character that can just be omnipresent and exist wherever he needs to exist.
Yeah,
and he makes money wherever he is. That's the best part.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be if you change it, people are gonna be more upset than enthusiastic. And Disney's like, we don't have to put you on our streaming service. We can put you on our Hulu or whatever app we have going forward. So, New Mutants reportedly hasn't started the reshoots they plan, but it's still reported to be the last Foxman release of all time ever. So
man, these last 2 Fox movies, they're going to be so weird. I don't know if they're just going to be like time capsule films of just like of the last era of Fox and what they were able to put out, or if, I don't know, maybe Feige is just the master producer that we all assume that he is, and they're just like, hey, Feige, you want to show up in the editing room, watch our early cut, and see if maybe you can fold this into the MCU? Like, I don't know. Like, if anybody could do it, it could be him. We'll find out.
So I think these reshoots haven't started because they are waiting for Feige to give feedback on the reshoots.
Okay.
So they could be like, this is now a Disney production, and we can fix this real fast. However, Dark Phoenix, the budget for this has ballooned to over $200 million with all their expensive reshoots. So that means this will hit theaters, but it will probably most likely be what we consider a box office bomb. Now, will it be as atrocious as, like, say, Fantastic Four in 2015 was? No, because that'll probably break even for us, but that doesn't include all the marketing and all the other costs they've had to inherit. Because there are diehard X-Men fans who've seen every X-Men movie and will continue to go watch X-Men movies because they're not into this like we are. And the average moviegoer has seen X-Men the longest, and I feel like they might be like, oh, it's an X-Men movie, let's go see it. And drive up some ticket sales without actually knowing the backstory of this movie.
I mean, I'm sort of surprised. I checked really quick because I wanted to see how X-Men Apocalypse did worldwide.
Hey, I did the same thing right before this.
So I mean, it's sitting at about $550 million overall. It did, of course, the lion's share overseas. So I think it could possibly be a domestic bomb for sure, because domestically, X-Men Apocalypse didn't even come close to its budget. So we'd have to just see if the international audience just doesn't care about the X-Men anymore, or maybe they're all on board. Who knows? Yeah,
that's exactly what I was looking at. I actually went to look at it. I'm like, was Apocalypse a bomb? Like, critically, it sucked. Domestically, it sucked. But these international markets are bringing like more life into these movies than should be possible. But maybe they don't have maybe what they're getting on a regular basis sucks compared to what we're getting. So maybe they don't have that high bar to hold things against. And that might tie into our next topic, Venom 2. So we have some good news about Venom 2, Mike. I will give you the good news.
Okay, please.
Right? Because only one of the previous 3 writers is returning, and she actually wrote Saving Mr. Banks and some other good movies.
Okay.
So she will write the script. Kelly Marcel will write the script. And so she's got some good news and good weight behind her. Ruben Fleischer will not return as the director because he's working on Zombieland 2.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I do like the idea that this could be one person's vision of what the story is. I'm sure they'll bring in other people, for rewrites and touch-ups like they do with all films. But I do like how it is just starting with one person. That's a good start.
Who can keep the continuity the same. Like, they're not like ripping it out and starting fresh. And again, like I said, Saving Mr. Banks is a pretty good movie. So I'm like, she can do good stuff. And Ruben Fleischer not coming in as the director, like, he can't be, I guess, apologetic for all this stuff. Like, they'll have a new director and maybe who has listened to all the feedback and like, I can't make the same mistakes this guy made. And now that they know Venom made money, maybe they can invest some of that money back into these action sequences in this movie. Because again, when they made Venom, they were probably like, this is not going to do as awesome as it's doing. So let's just like roll that budget back a little bit and just show Venom a couple times.
Usually I don't watch the honest trailers on YouTube to kind of get like really concise analysis of a film. It's just there to be fun. But if you watch the honest trailer on YouTube, Screen Junkies, for the first Venom, there's this hilarious repeat offense that they do where like every action scene drives by the Rialto Theater like in San Francisco like all of the time. So it's just like every scene, Rialto Theater in the background, different scenes, different set pieces. So yeah, I want a different director that won't just point the camera at the Rialto Theater for every scene that he wants to shoot. So I don't like Venom. I know a lot of people found joy in it, but for me, the negatives outweigh the positives. So yeah,
you just need a boyfriend Venom. That's all you need.
Yeah, like when you said the sequel is confirmed, and that was kind of a little bit of the headlining news this week. This is kind of what we have to run with. I was just like, oh, I don't like Venom.
Right, and it's totally, and that's totally fine not to like it. But if they are able to maybe take some feedback from it and grow, I'll give them a chance. Because
It would be nice. It's been a while since I've seen a movie that's improved in the sequel, like where they've been able to polish it and make it fun and awesome. So, yeah, I hope they do it, but
yeah.
I feel like I'm just getting my hopes up, man.
Well, I mean, like I said, to me, Infinity War is the best version of a sequel in culmination. So maybe I've seen some good stuff come out of sequels lately. I just noticed, going back to all our old episodes, we did a review for the first Ant-Man, and I'm like, I don't remember what the hell we said about the first Ant-Man. And then we also last year did an Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I'm like, I kind of remember about that one, but I don't remember what we talked about in the first one. So I may go back and be like, what did we think of Ant-Man, Mike? And how did that compare to our second viewing or the second sequel? So Woody Harrelson's Carnage is expected to return as the villain. Hopefully he does not look like Sideshow Bob again in the end of it.
Yeah, the movie's going to open with him like shaving his head.
Yeah, getting out of prison someday. I don't know what's going to happen. But, so, there's an idea that Venom could be a possible R rating because of Carnage and the violence. But I looked into this a little bit today. China has a very extreme process for allowing R-rated movies into their theaters. They do like 3 a year. And as the PG-13 success of Venom and this weird, stupid advertising over there, and however that worked in its favor, I think they'll just continue the same advertising and try to hit that same market yet again. Because
oh yeah, you got a point.
This movie almost made like $1 billion on accident. Whoops,
$1 billion.
Yeah, and that little animated Venom boyfriend thing is just so goofy, and like that's not anything to do with the movie at all. I don't know how it worked. I don't know how they made it work. So, anyway, Venom 2 all but confirmed at this point. Aquaman has passed over $1 billion worldwide. 72% of that is international, but it is now higher than The Dark Knight and any other DC movie so far. So, Aquaman, it's making a splash around the world, if you will.
It's got to be from Pitbull's excellent cover of Africa by Toto. That popped up the other day. Me and my wife were talking about that in the car. I was just like, the single worst offense that Aquaman movie made, which was a decent movie, I had fun watching it, was that Pitbull soundtrack. Oh, God.
All the music was so on the goddamn nose.
So bad. Fire whoever made those decisions when you make that sequel, please.
I was talking to Mike this week. I said, I need a soundtrack for a superhero movie that's as good as Guardians 1 and 2 again. Like, I am tired of waiting for a new soundtrack that's as good. And they're like, hey, listen to the Aquaman soundtrack. And I like wanted to come through my phone after you so fast because of that. So, what was funny was, I don't know, like 4 days before I saw Aquaman, I heard that Pitbull thing on the radio, on the Pitbull station on XM as I was passing through. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I've been ripping on it for like 3 days, and then it showed up in the movie, and my wife just turned to me and laughed hysterically because I was so against it. So,
oh man,
yeah, oh well. In terms of DC, Birds of Prey, the movie will start filming this week, so we may be seeing some more of the costume designs of the characters and the return of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn yet again.
Leaked set shots. I loved leaked set shots from any movie out there because I always like to imagine what it's like in the head of the photographer. He's got his like $20,000 telescoped lens, and he's like propped up inside somebody's like condo. It's like, oh, can I hop in real quick so I can take a picture of this set down here in Vancouver or wherever they're filming? So that's always fun because you're always seeing things that maybe you're not supposed to see, but from just really awful angles. Like if you want to see like a top-down shot of like Margot Robbie's shoulder or something like that in her costume, look for set photos. But I always find it fun trying to analyze that stuff.
Well, I think it's not fun, but it's is the we haven't talked about the no one's talked about the Captain Marvel green suit in a long time since we saw the early set photos.
The baggy suit.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, these set photos suck. The green suit sucks. But like once they showed actual her in it in the footage, no one has said a bad thing since then. So I'm like, yeah, set photos can go either way. And then it
makes for a fun couple weeks.
Yeah, it does. You can rip on something. Like I remember so vividly hating the Black Panther suit for his bagginess and that all the action stuff, and then we saw Civil War. I'm like, damn, how wrong were we? How wrong were we? Star Trek 4 has been shelved at Paramount, so we will not see the adventures of Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth as the Kirks doing their
Wow, they finally shut it. I mean, that the third film they said was was kind of like a turnaround. People really liked it. Maybe they're just gonna double all of the Star Trek efforts just on the CBS shows. I know there's totally different productions and everything, or maybe they're gonna try to reboot it. I don't know what they're doing. I've always had a feeling that like Apple's gonna come in and buy Paramount at some point in time and like snap up some of those properties, because like we talked about at the very top of the show, CES happened just a week ago, and the big news, surprisingly, was iTunes is now going to be like on Rokus and like smart TVs and stuff like that. You're not going to be locked into an Apple TV anymore. You're just going to be able to pop open your Roku and go to the iTunes app, which is really crazy. People were saying they're trying to imagine like Johnny Ive, the master designer at Apple, holding a Roku remote going, oh, I got to design something for this Roku machine in front of me. Well, that's all in effect because iTunes, Apple is launching their streaming service this year, and they might need content, so maybe they'll buy Paramount, and then maybe they'll make brand new Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, so, yes, hopefully. We talked about CS at the start of the show. I mean, AirPlay and iTunes are going to be on every big TV coming out this year and last year. And after they announced that, I think some big investors like Roku is like a dead product now, and I was like, damn, like,
nah, I don't think they're dead.
I don't think it's dead either, but I think they need to shift their model around, because the president says like they don't make any money off anything, like they're breaking even every year on the Rokus. But either way, I think it's interesting. I did enjoy Star Trek 3. I did not enjoy Into Darkness, even with Benedict Cumberbatch. So I was hoping for 4 would be fun, but we'll see.
I guess we'll never see that Tarantino Star Trek film.
That one is unknown. That has not been shelved yet. So we may see that one next. Which
at the very least, I know Tarantino hates when this happens, but it would be cool to see that script leak. It'd be fun. It'd be funny to see what his vision of Star Trek is.
I would like to. I mean, Star Trek Discovery is doing amazing on CBS All Access. And all the little shorts they've been doing for it, so like people are eating that up. I mean, we don't need another Star Trek reboot, but like we don't need a 4th movie with the same characters if they wanted to go a different direction at all. So I'd be okay with that. But I'm not a Trekkie, so hold that against me. That's the show for the week, Mike. That's all the news we got.
We did it. Congratulations.
We got through it. Hopefully this is a good episode for people. I want you guys to enjoy us and send us your Super Bowl recipes at the end. Like, again, I'm going to remind you guys, send us those Super Bowl recipes because I want to know what you got. If people want to know what you're up to during the week, Mike, and all that fun stuff, where can they find you at?
Well, as always, you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to catch up with you, so you're doing out there in the world. You just got like a brand new little, I don't know it's like a little photo tent thing.
Like a light box.
Yeah, you got like a light box. You're taking like professional, high quality photos of your Funko Pops. People want to find those. Where can they find that?
You can find me on Instagram for that first at Valdan87, and I don't think they shared a Twitter right now. I need to fix my Instagram. They updated it this week, and like all my stuff disconnected, so I'm not very happy about this.
Well, if you push your Instagram stuff to Twitter, it's just going to be a normal text link. No one's going to see the photo.
Well, never mind that then. But you can also find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan. I'm not on there as frequently, but I love the tags from the Nerdy News and Report or whatever your Twitter is. I'm sorry, I don't know that off the top of my head. But thank you, other Chris. You can also head over to Comic UI and listen to the other show, Filmside Chats. But I'm very excited about Superhero Slate being on Spotify, so find us there. I'm so excited. I've been using Spotify for years. The first time I paid for Spotify, 2013, when I went to California to visit you, Mike. We drove from LA to San Francisco, and we bought Spotify to download it to our phones, if you remember this or not. But definitely have had Spotify, been paying for it ever since then, due to Mike. Yeah. So I blame you for this. If people want to know more about Superhero Slate, tell them all the new places they can download us and listen to us.
Here we go. We're gonna have some new reads in this last little segment, so let's kick it off. As always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host our show and to get our awesome show notes. So we actually talked about a lot this episode, a lot of little things that we ran through. So if you missed anything, if you want to Google anything, if you want to get some links to that Captain Marvel exclusive look teaser trailer, I don't know what they're calling them now, but we got that all in the show notes. And And the best thing I love about our website is there's no ads on it. There's no pop-ups. There's no nothing. If you want to know when a movie's coming out, we got an upcoming releases page. So all you got to do is drop in on the website, and it's just going to be an excellent viewing experience. But as always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. I'll have to figure out the best order for that for me to get it out there with my tongue next week. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you, everybody. So reach out to us on Twitter, in the YouTube comments. You can even send us an email if you want. We love hearing from you. You can tag the Superhero Slate Twitter account if you want. You can tag us directly on Twitter. I love chatting with you guys. Game of Thrones is coming out soon. True Detective, we had some people reach out over the weekend. So some nerdy stuff is really starting to swell up out there soon. So we love hearing from you. And if you're a super fan, we love our super fans. If you want to be one, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week.
That's right, every week, including next week. And whatever other week we got. Did I tell you I'm going to go see Glass this weekend? I'm going to go see Glass. Don't tell me anything about it. I'm going in blind as I can. So.
Oh, you haven't? Have you? I know some of the reviews have been kind of leaking, and unfortunately, I have seen them. So I wasn't sure if you had seen them or not.
I've seen titles and headlines of articles, but I've not actually read anything. So I'm going to try to go in as open as I can to this. So.
All right.
But I'm going to go see that this weekend. But if anyone else has anything, send us an email or tag us, and we'll catch you guys next week.
All right. Adios, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Because we don't care about sports. We care about what food you're having at your sporting events.